Let's give it up for the lovely, the talented. You don't like that?
No.
You're too slow.
I don't like that.
Okay.
Innards sound like body parts, like guts.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest needs no introduction. Today he won an award for twerking at school. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Please help me give a warm welcome to the lovely, the talented Lennox Albert Garcia.
He's twerking right now.
He's twerking right now. Lennox, this is audio, but
we enjoy the show.
This is good for the YouTubes. So we had a fire today. That's the headline.
Fire alert.
There was a fire.
Scary.
A small grass fire.
Small?
On the other side of... Okay, a giant... It consumed... We're Paradise, California over here.
And there was 3 or 4?
4 in Sacramento, West Sacramento at one time. Lots of fires, but the closest one was literally on the other side of the berm. What my wife calls the berm, what most pedestrians call a hill. But it was 50 feet on the other side of the hill.
Yeah, maybe less.
A fire, maybe less. So, Lennox, thoughts, feelings, comments, reflections on the entire process?
Scary. At first it was scary, and then when we got far away, it wasn't as scary, but it was still scary. You know?
What did you see when you, did you look out the window and you saw what?
Just a big wave of ash coming at me.
A big wave of ash coming at you.
Yeah.
There you go.
And what did you do when you saw a big wave of black billowing smoke headed towards us?
I yelled at Luna, and then I yelled at you.
Right.
Yes.
Chaos ensued.
Yes. So what happened is that the fire... There were about 4 fires in West Sacramento at the same time or very close to each other. But the one that matters, We
were aware of fires because about a half hour earlier, around the time the kids were getting out of school, I looked outside, I started smelling smoke, and I could see smoke in the air. But it's so windy that the sky would be really smoky, and then a few minutes later, it would be clear blue, because it's been so windy today, the last 2 days.
Yeah.
And then the kids walked home from school. They could smell the smoke. It was very smoky outside. And I knew, I had seen on the internet that one fire was fairly close, about a mile or 2 away.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, there's a fire nearby. We're fine.
Right.
But there was a point where we were all kind of looking out the window, and then dark black smoke started rolling in a giant wave towards our living room windows. Over the berm. Yeah. And the kids were like, "Can we leave? We need to leave." And at first I was like, "No, it's okay." But then it went really quickly from being "Oh, I'm going to take a picture to send to Vince." To, "Oh crap. I think we need to do something. We need to go." Yeah. And then somebody knocked on our door really hard and really loud. Yeah. Around the same time that the kids were saying, "Can we go? We should leave. We got to leave." Yeah. So then I was like, "Oh, this is real. People is something happening? People are scared."
We're in danger.
They're potential danger because I couldn't see any flames. Yeah. But the sky was completely covered in dark smoke. Yeah. And it was blowing towards us. And I knew that it was blowing from the direction of the fire that was fairly close. Yeah. So I didn't know if it had spread. Because all that was between us and the fire is a bunch of fields and trees and brush. Yeah. So, what happened, Lennox, when I was like, "Okay, we gotta go"?
Oh, we started freaking out.
You started freaking out.
We started freaking out, and we tried to grab the booper. He ran under the bed.
Our cat, Frankie.
The kids were like, "We gotta get Frankie," and I was like, "No, we gotta get ourselves."
Yeah. And then so, and I just know from what you guys have told me, but so Frankie hid under our bed, right? Mine and yours bed, honey.
Yeah, because we were screaming. The kids were chasing him. So his safe space is underneath our bed.
It is. It's where he spent the first 6 weeks of his life, underneath our bed. And he's a smoky gray cat, so you could just see his yellow eyes looking forward.
It was just pure chaos, because at one point, Luna ran upstairs. She's like, "I'm packing a bag." And I was like, "No, there's no time." Yeah. And then they were both saying, we have to get Frankie.
Yeah.
Ugh. So luckily, Frankie got scared and came out from under the bed.
Yeah.
And the kids both were kind of manhandling him, trying to grab his arms, grab his fur. And
Well, his cage is downstairs, so did someone bring his cage up?
Luna grabbed him,
Okay.
and we all ran downstairs.
Oh.
His little cage is in the garage.
Yeah.
So we went out there, we put him in the cage right next to the car, and then we all
Just threw him in the cage.
Okay.
we lovingly threw him in the cage, and then we all like quickly got in the car.
Yeah.
And I opened the garage door, and our neighbor, Debbie, just across the way, was outside getting in her car.
Mm-hmm.
Other neighbors were like hopping in their cars.
Yeah.
It was really scary.
Yeah.
And then I threw my phone back to Lennox and I said, take pictures. We have to document this.
It's all about the pictures.
And he was like, are you crazy? But I said, no, I'm driving. You can take pictures.
Yeah.
It was
And-
just chaos.
It was
horrifying.
chaos. It was chaotic.
And so I'm at work, and I missed about 6 calls from you, and I missed about 3 calls from Luna because I was working. But then when I finally had a chance to look at my telephone, I was like, oh, what the heck's going on? And then I called you, and you informed me of all this. But there was no official evacuation. But then
Right.
again, what is an official evacuation? Like
Right.
a fire truck going, which there were many fire trucks here in our premises, in our condo complex today. But it is an official evacuation fire truck with the loudspeaker saying, "Get the hell out!
How do
Get
you?
the hell out!"
That's what I was wondering. How do you know when an official evacuation? Is it like an Amber Alert where you just get an automatic thing on your phone that starts beeping?
I think it would be like you know, there's like natural disasters, like something that would like pop up on your TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think that's more widespread, but for our condo complex, which has a couple hundred people, I think, well, when there's like a hurricane or a flood back east, they have cops kind of going door to door, and also with the loudspeaker saying, "Get the hell out! Get the hell out!"
Mm-hmm.
And if you stay here, that's you're at risk, and you may die. But please get the hell out.
Yeah.
But we're such small scale. Like we wouldn't have gotten an Amber Alert. It wouldn't have been on the TV. Although we were on the TV news. Hello, we matter. We got validated by CBS 13.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we left because
Yeah.
in the moment it was really scary. And the berm, for those who don't know, it's similar to like a levee.
It's a little hill.
It's a man-made hill, and the reason it's here is because we live right next to the Sacramento River, and right next. So the hill is like it's a man-made. The berm is a man-made hill,
Yeah.
and on the other side, it's just wide open land.
Yeah.
There's trees. It's government land.
Yeah.
There's no development there because it's there because if the river overflows, it's space for the overflow to happen.
Yeah.
And the berm is next to us to protect our condos from getting floodwater.
Yeah.
So our vision is blocked from our dining room windows. We can see the smoke, but because the hill is right there, we have no vision.
Yeah.
So we were scared because we can't see. We can only see 15 feet in front of us.
Yeah.
And then it's blocked, and we have no idea what's happening on the other side.
Yeah, and it was tons of smoke. And when I drove home. So I'm at work on Twitter and Facebook, and Gary, my coworker who lives in West Sacramento, I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there was a fire at 2-ish, but there's another one at 4." And I was like, "Okay." And then my fellow other coworkers were making fun of me, saying, "Where are you going to sleep tonight, Vince? There's a couch in the break room." And I'm like, "Oh, very funny."
Homelessness is so funny.
And then, so it was, I'm getting updates from you. I'm getting updates from Gary. I'm getting updates from Facebook and Twitter. And I'm not sure exactly what's going on. So we made a plan to meet at McDonald's at Lake Washington.
Right.
Because I was like, well, let's meet. You guys evacuated. Let's meet somewhere close.
The kids and I were just driving around, kind of meandering.
Yeah.
We got to the far outskirts of town.
Yeah.
So we could see from a distance all the smoke. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of smoke on and then the kids were hungry. They wanted McDonald's.
Yeah.
And we decided to meet there because we have no way of knowing if it's safe to come home.
Yeah.
Is our house on fire?
Right. Did Lennox set the fire just to get McDonald's chicken McNuggets?
Baby.
That's the real question.
That's a theory.
Yeah.
Lennox is currently wearing a mask because it's still pretty smoky in our house.
Yeah.
And it's in our eyes, it's in our lungs.
He's one of them pro-maskers, honey. So we made a plan to meet at McDonald's on Lake Washington. The McDonald's at Lake Washington that owes me $28.66, by the way. But then I was coming home, and I said, I think I texted with Luna on your phone, I'll meet you there in a half hour. But then I was like, well, I want to see what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I came straight here to our condo complex, our home. And it was a very odd scene. Like, there's fire. I saw flames just on the other side of the berm. And I saw fire trucks and firemen. But then I saw, like, the Amazon truck driver making his deliveries. I saw Kathy Bailey, head of our HOA, shoeless, with a garden hose watering some bush to hopefully offset some embers flying around.
She's being helpful.
Yeah.
She's a junior firefighter.
She is. And then I saw, like, a mom walking her kid in a stroller, and I was like, because I could barely keep my eyes open because there's so much smoke going on. But here's this lady walking her baby in a stroller. Very odd. I saw a couple kids on hoverboards, like on the driveway next to us. I'm like, this is bizarre. But by and large, and there's people, our neighbors just chatting, wandering out here on their telephones.
Right. This was about an hour after the kids and I had evacuated. We ran out the door in a flurry. Yeah.
So my plan was to come home and then meet you guys at McDonald's, but I was like, well, there's nothing really happening. I mean, if it was like really threatening, if we were really in danger, then I assume the fire people would have been like, get the hell out of here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But they weren't, and so I was like, and there was smoke everywhere, and there was fire engines everywhere, but I thought, well, I'm just going to stay here, so I said, come home. Come home.
Yeah, the kids got their McDonald's, and then we came home and had a great time watching the firefighters right outside our windows doing their jobs.
Yeah, so I'm home before you guys. I walk in, and so the scene I would like to describe. So your chair at the dining room table is toppled up against the wall / windowsill. There's a bag of I noticed like Luna Marie's hoodie is discarded from the bag. So there's a bag, and then it's tipped over, and then there's all of its contents strewn about the floor. And then I go to the kitchen, and there's Frankie's food, the bag of Frankie's food. It's open, getting stale. That isn't cheap, Lennox. Okay. And then I see a ice cream
wrapper.
What is it? A drumstick?
Yeah, it's a drumstick wrapper.
A drumstick wrapper.
That was Lennox's.
I was there.
On the kitchen counter.
So you came home to a crime scene.
Yeah.
And you're like a detective trying to figure out what the heck happened here.
Trying to piece everything together. So, honey, what did happen? The chair, the bag of Luna with Luna's hoodie.
Lennox.
The ice cream.
Lennox, you're responsible for the chair being toppled over. What happened there?
Okay, so it was like as soon as Frankie ran out of your room, he like ran under the table.
Okay.
So I just grabbed the chair and just threw it at the wall.
What the heck?
You were like the Hulk? You threw a chair against the wall?
Oh my
I didn't
goodness.
throw it against the wall, but I like moved it.
Is the wall okay?
I pushed it against the wall.
We will rebuild.
And then that's when I grabbed Frankie and we ran downstairs and left.
Mm.
And then
You were in the midst of eating an ice cream?
No. I was watching TV and eating. I was done with my ice cream.
Yeah. But you left the wrapper. Oh, Lennox, what did I tell you about leaving wrappers around the house? Yes.
So I finished it. I had my wrapper on the table. That's as soon as I noticed, there's a lot of smoke. So I went to check, and that's when the chaos started.
In pursuit of Franklin, Luna dropped her bag that she had packed.
Okay,
for our excavation.
She went upstairs.
Evacuation.
She was like, I need to pack a bag.
Right.
And then she went upstairs to pack a bag.
Yeah.
And then she came downstairs and was like, Frankie's the priority.
Right.
My bag is not the priority, so
Yeah.
it's spilled out everywhere.
Yeah. And then the food is on the counter. Frankie's food was on the counter because
Yeah.
we were trying to lure him out from under the bed. So somebody grabbed the bag of food
Yeah.
to try to. And there was also a bag of his treats on the floor.
Okay. So a bag, $13 bag of high-end cat food getting stale on our counter.
I sealed it. I resealed it when we got home. Yeah.
And so, well, first of all, we need to have a family meeting about emergency preparedness, honey.
I need a meeting, mommy meeting.
Yeah.
Because I was not cool and collected myself. I was a bit of a mess.
Frazzled.
Yeah.
Well, we all were.
Yeah, we all were. And then after we just drove. We took off. We started driving west, out into the country towards Clarksburg.
South.
Oh.
Sorry.
And then after like 10 or 15 minutes, the kids were like, we feel nauseous. And then we were all like kind of shaky and not feeling well. And I think I told them, we're all coming down from like an adrenaline high.
Yeah.
Because we were all just like in a state of like really elevated adrenaline and emotion. And so we all like, after a while we were out driving and we all started like, okay. I was like, we all need to take deep breaths. Mm-hmm. We're okay. Everybody's safe.
Yeah.
But it was crazy there for a minute.
In the midst of the panic, I hear rumors on the internets that one or two of the Wild Childs may have cursed.
Oh,
Name names and what word did they say? What?
I said the S word.
What was the? Can you give us the context? You said
I was like over here freaking out.
Yeah.
Because I was just in like shock, and that's when Boofer was on the table, and I wanted to help him because we love the Boop. So that's when I said the S word.
Did you say? I think you said, "Oh, shield," and I don't.
I didn't
remember.
say it too loud though.
You didn't say it too. Did the booper hear it?
The neighbors
Did the
not
fireman hear it? Did Debbie hear it? Did Kathy Bailey hear it?
Luna also yelled the S word, and I thought she said the F word.
I didn't hear her yell the F word.
Yeah, she claims she didn't either. So I think.
Okay.
And again, it was all such a blur.
Yeah.
So we also had a discussion in the car when me and the kids were driving, and we were talking about that. And I said, anything that just happened in the last half hour, I'm not mad. Everything's forgiven.
Yeah.
Because that was a really high emotional, intense time.
Have you heard the kids curse before?
I've heard Luna curse.
Do you remember the situation or the context?
I've heard Luna curse when she broke her bed on accident.
When she broke her bed on accident?
I've heard Lennox say hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but who are you, Liz Fisher? I mean, hell.
I've heard my mom say ASS.
What? What was the sentence? Do you remember?
She was yelling at some ants that had invaded our home.
Ants? ANTS? ASS?
And the ass word came up.
Liz Fisher in alliteration.
I've heard Luna cuss, but I can't remember the context right now.
I remember Luna said the A word.
Well, A word is it's barely a curse.
There's I don't remember what we were watching, but there was a show, and she was yelling at TV because the people were being stupid, and she yelled nasty.
Nasty ASS?
Ass.
Girl.
Nasty A girl.
So I was home, and the biggest thing was I was like, I could barely keep my eyes on. Meanwhile, there's neighbors who were not wearing masks, who aren't wearing goggles, or they're just out and about chit chatting about the madness happening. Yeah. I was like, I need to go inside, but I said, honey, come home. It's
on it right now.
Yeah.
It's been nearly 3 hours since me and the kids evacuated. It smells like a nightclub in here. It's very smoky. So I don't know how people...
Is there cocaine in the bathroom, Lennox?
What? I don't know how anyone has been outside over the last couple of hours.
Meanwhile, there's heck of people outside.
Yes.
Hey guys, we out here.
Children, dogs walking.
I saw an older lady who was like, I'm a hypochondriac, but I need to get a picture. And I was like, okay, lady, You millennials in your 60s with your TikToks and your selfies and your Instagram. So I was like, come home. You guys came home. You got McDonald's. Lennox, did you set the fire just to get McDonald's? Be honest.
Yes, I did.
Oh, see. Call the popo.
Was it worth it?
Yes.
You got the McNuggies. So you guys came home, and we just stayed inside because it was super smoky outside. And then we saw a reporter, a television news reporter, on our berm, honey.
Yes.
And it turned out he was with CBS 13, which you determined.
Yeah, I saw his little microphone, the giant square they have on their microphones.
Yeah.
And I saw the 13.
Yeah. And so I forgot who suggested it, but someone said, turn on channel 13.
That was Luna, I think.
Luna said,
Yay, Luna.
turn on channel 13, which is one of the 4 channels we have. So I turned it on, and it was, we were watching this young guy wearing skinny jeans and a polo shirt and high tops report live about the fire on the television, and then we were at the same time, it was live, so he was on our berm.
So meta.
Yeah.
And then we all at once went, ah!
It was a trip.
It was so exciting.
Our windows were closed. So we didn't disrupt the broadcast, I don't think. But it was super cool. Lennox, was that like Mr. Beast doing a live stream or Unspeakable or...
Kind of.
Huh?
Kind of.
It was a trip, right?
Yep.
So you saw what was happening on our television, and then you looked to the left and you saw on the berm this young, handsome man with AirPods broadcasting back to the television. It was weird, right?
Kind of. I've never seen like someone like actually streaming and then watching the stream at the same time.
It was like a live stream.
It was a live stream.
Yes.
Hey guys, we out here live. And to be honest, so we were watching him on the TV, and our windows were closed, but I wanted to open the window and say, why did you fire Cammy Brown? And why did you fire me?
Oh dear.
Cammy Brown's our neighbor, by the way. But we didn't. But we were going nuts.
Yes.
It was something super cool. We were on the TV, and you know what? We weren't really paying attention to his report, but he didn't really have anything to. He was like pointing to the dead vegetation.
Well, he did say, if the goats, thankfully the goats have been here recently, eating all this vegetation.
Yeah.
And if they hadn't been here, the fire would have gotten up to these condos right here. And he pointed up to me personally in my window.
Yeah.
He pointed at me.
Yeah.
These condos were saved by the goats.
Yeah. And so for people who don't know, West Sacramento, and also Natomas and Rockland, we have a bunch of goats, and they move them around to eat the vegetation. And when the goats are done, it looks like a post-apocalyptic nuclear holocaust has happened. It's all brown and dry. But thank goodness that we had the goats. They were just here a few weeks ago.
Thank goodness, number one, that the goats themselves are gone so they didn't get caught in this fire. And number two, that they ate down the vegetation. They literally just got finished with our area last week. And they've been here for 2 months. Yeah. Going place to place around West Sacramento, eating all the tall grasses. Yeah. But I was glad he talked about the goats. I love the goats.
Yeah. So, Lennox, thoughts, feelings, comments, reflections on the past 3 hours of your life.
It was exciting.
It was
kind of horrifying at first.
Exciting and horrifying.
Because I thought I was going to die.
Well, it wasn't a mandatory evacuation, and Lennox has friends in the complex who didn't evacuate.
Yeah.
No.
I thought you... Well, the person, whoever knocked on our door, freaked you out, right?
Yes. I think we would have evacuated without the knocking because black billowing clouds, as I've said, were coming towards us. And it was scary. Yeah. But this urgent, really hard knock. It was like the police trying to bang down on the door, but it wasn't. We think it was our HOA member.
What if it? But what?
That like elevated like that's when we all went from like, oh wow, to
Well, were they panicking?
Yeah,
was it
Probably,
warranted?
they must have been.
I
panicking.
saw them outside, like knocking on everyone's door.
Oh, she was like running from door to door.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, and you guys bugged out. But meanwhile, I came home to a shoeless Kathy Bailey watering her bushes, which made sense on some level, but it wasn't that bad. I've been a part of my parents in San Diego, where there was heck of fires going on, and I remember driving to them, and you had to prove your address to some police officer or firemen so you could get to their address, because they were like, no one is allowed who doesn't live here. So fires were super close, and they were a lot more there was just a lot more fire going on. But that was super scary.
Were you living with them, or has this been since you've moved out and been older?
Moved out, yeah. So
yeah, but the thing with fire is it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And it can spread like that,
Yeah.
or or it could be a non-issue, and all you're dealing with really is the smoke in the air. So it's hard to know. Me and the kids were talking about this also when we were driving around.
Yeah.
And I think Luna said, I'm glad that we were better safe than sorry in this circumstance. And I said, yeah, I agree.
Well,
it's fine.
I wouldn't have evacuated Lennox because I'm a real man.
We would have left you. I would have taken the
evacuated.
kids and Frankie, and we would have left you here.
I knew you would have evacuated.
Oh,
It was horrifying.
okay.
You would have left.
Yeah.
Anyone would have.
Well, I would have went to the exit and I would have stopped there, like heading down to Clarksburg, because my main concern was like, well, what's up with our house? Okay, so instantly on my drive home, which was about a half hour, I was like, is all my Abercrombie clothes going to go up in flames? And then second was what's going to happen to our Friday night of me and my wife drinking beer and listening to 1950s and 60s music.
Everything was in jeopardy.
Yeah. And then we're celebrating our anniversary this weekend.
Yeah.
So I was like, is this is this at stake?
Thankfully,
Yeah.
Speaking of our anniversary weekend, I have been primping and planning and preparing my body for the last 2 days.
Yeah.
And thankfully, at the time that the fire came towards us, I had just finished showering and shaving my legs. And moisturizing my body.
Well, you were in the midst of a 3-hour self-care sesh.
I was.
Today. The fire didn't happen, or it wasn't super close, or it wasn't one of the 4 that was super close. But if the fire on the other side of the berm happened in the middle of your 3 to 4 hour self-care session, what would you have done, honey?
I guess I just would have dried off my body really quick and threw on some clothes and left.
No, that's not the right call.
Oh. Lennox disagrees.
Your eyebrows are more important than some tiny fire. So we were on TV. We covered that. Nothing more. Is there anything more, Lennox?
Not really.
All right, honey. Any? Is there anything more? You keep smelling your hair.
I just washed my hair today as part of my self-care, and it smells really good.
You washed your hair before the fire.
I washed my hair. I blow dried it with a giant round brush.
But it wasn't
a blowout.
It wasn't tainted by the smoke and the fire.
Well, that's another thing. I think earlier it smelled like smoke.
Yeah.
I keep sniffing it, but I don't think it smells like smoke anymore.
Lennox is still wearing a mask right now.
It's not as smoky, but
It's still a little smoky in here. I feel like I'm camping.
Yeah. Well, I turned on the AC
it kind of is.
when I got home, and then you turned off the AC, and then in the midst of my shower, you said people on the internet said it's okay to turn on the AC.
Yes, so I turned it back on.
Yeah. All right. So what have we learned, Lennox? How can our family be better prepared for an emergency?
Just always be prepared. That's it.
Yeah.
Or if you see a fire, be prepared for it to burn down your house and get ready to evacuate.
Always assume the worst.
Len, if death was in the cards or on the horizon, would you say Frankie?
Yes.
That's the wrong answer.
That's the wrong answer.
Wrong.
Son.
Well, he also has a life, just like us.
And
He has a life, but...
he has a life of
That's like saying you want to save me.
No, it's
No,
not.
wait.
No way.
Well, for me, it is.
His life is licking his no-no square and staring out the window.
Len, you're way more important than Frankie.
You're way more valuable.
Well, Booper's more important than me.
No.
Get out of town. Humans, greater sign,
No.
animals.
No, animals are more important than humans, except for my own family. That's my stance.
That's kind of true.
That's my stance.
Actually, no. I want to say Frankie.
All right.
Or I would have at least took him. I didn't think of putting him in a cage.
Yeah, at first, Luna, we went down to the garage, and I was like, we got to put him in his cage. And Luna was like, no, just get in the car. And I was like, no, we cannot have a loose Frankie in the car.
Yeah.
Hopping around, scratching my face while I'm trying to drive.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But he kept it together for the most part. Correct?
Frankie?
Yeah.
He was just he looked mad.
He always looks mad. He's a depressed, unhappy,
he looks madder, though.
chunky boy.
Even madder than usual.
But you said
I think he fell asleep at one point, though.
he was okay for the most part, but he tripped out at red lights.
And as long as the car was moving, he was quiet. And I kept forgetting he was even there. But then whenever we came to a stop at a red light, he would go meow from his little cage.
So he didn't poo-poo, he didn't pee-pee?
No.
Well,
No.
it's like when you drive, when you have a newborn or a toddler, you drive them around, right? So that works for some parents.
Yeah, that
Drive
can,
them in a car.
that can get them to fall asleep.
Yeah.
The hum and the movement of the car can kind of
Yeah.
soothe them. Yeah, it was soothing him, I think.
Yeah. So, CBS 13 firing me and Camby Brown. Why, Lennox?
I don't know.
Because we're too out here? We're too independent? A pregnant Camby Brown, honey.
Yeah, I know. We were excavating. Evacuating. I keep saying excavating.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're an archaeologist.
I excavated my family out of here.
You did. You did.
Anyway. All right.
Alrighty. Well, are we done, Lennox?
Pretty much.
Alrighty. Well, that's the end of the program. It's been fun, but not really. Let's all try a little harder next time. Like, comment, subscribe, follow, review, and rate. Or don't. Do whatever you want. You're a grown up. Make your own decisions. Do what's best for your family. Please be sure to use our promo code for Simply Safe. We don't have a promo code for Simply Safe. Goodbye, my podcast friends. I love you. My wife and Lennox Albert and I love you. We hope you have a good day today and tomorrow. And sure, we may have let Frankie go up in flames in a small brush fire. Humans are more important. I mean, when it comes down to it, right?
But I love the Booper.
We love him.
We love the Booper.
Why do you love him, Lennox?
Because he's fat and junky and lovable. And I use him as a pillow sometimes.
That's true. And you guys both have a tuft.
And sure.
I already did that. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a wonderful day / night. Au revoir.